Hello, Internet world. I hope that you can imagine the feathers behind my head. Any color you want. You know that my favorite colors for my hue is red, white, and blue. So let's put some red, white, and blue feathers up for Princess Leslie. I have to admit that I do not know if I have any Indian blood in me at all. Not even subcontinent Indian blood. I'm talking about the kind of Indian blood that Columbus thought that he was going to find when he crossed the ocean blue in 1492. But that's a whole nother story. What a mess you made up for everybody, Columbus. Really. Get your words right. Words are important. They might offend people. Cultural appropriation can offend many also. Generally not the culture that other people say are being offended. Virtue signal away. Save the Dalai Lama by texting. If a lot of people text, save the Dalai Lama, you don't have to do another thing ever to try to save the Dalai Lama. I think he's doing a good job saving himself. Concentrate on yourself first, please. And clean your own rooms. Really, look around. You've been cooped up for months. Do something about it. It'll help clear your mind. I happen to like Chinese food a lot. I even bought myself a wok and I use it. I don't think I have any Chinese in me whatsoever. I know how to use chopsticks, but I have an excuse. I learned before I was an adult. As a minor, it's not my fault. They forced me to learn how to use chopsticks. Don't take me away, please. And I think that a lot of Native Americans, where some cultures it's as far different as night and day, some are tolerant of their gay community, while others killed them. There were some tribes who the modern virtue signalers would consider noble, and others, if they really got a chance to have a close look and maybe even live within that society 300 years ago, they might not be so thrilled about them. But the important question is, how do the Native American nations, independent nations, or those who are left, think about the idea of social appropriation? They don't really care. Leave it alone. If they want to call Atlanta the Braves and other similar names, a brave is a proud person. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me, except for the 21st century virtual signalers. Because names and words are now considered violence. Or braves, it's a name. It has some old historical reference, and I don't really even think that it was done in a negative fashion back then. A brave, let's look that word up. Brave, hey, get me a dictionary quick. What does a brave mean? Brave. No, there must be other definitions beside that. Can't possibly be. No, check again. Check again. Brave. He claims, mind you, that brave means someone who stands up and is manly. Oh, we can't say manly. There are a lot of women braves now. Hey, get with it. This person's worthless. What's a brave? Is a brave a bad thing? Is it bad to be brave? Well, in today's world, it's bad to be brave because you're showing too much masculinity. Stop doing that. Masculinity is evil. Didn't you learn that in Diversity Class 101? Aren't you paying attention? Did you actually try to speak up and be different? How dare you? D. D for today's class. What's your name? Go sit back there, will you? You're disturbing the class. Class, does anyone agree with this person? Isn't brave related to masculinity, which makes it patriarchal? And we all know that patriarchy has caused all the evils in the world. It's time for women to take control. There's no more shared dominion. Men and women never work together in concert for their mutual benefit. Well, at least up until about 1960 in birth control. That sure changed things a lot. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And here we are now. But before that, I think they were working together really hard. Just how things are, menstruating women generally don't like to run around in public too often, all the time. They had their chores, rearing children, while the men were out hunting, for bow. Species does. And now we have the ability to set women free. I'm free. I'm free. Home at last. And then women could wear white pants. That's freedom. And the dishwasher, for anyone who went to the 1964 New York City World's Fair, it was marvelous to see all these things that everybody's going to have in the future. But we already had a dishwasher and a vacuum cleaner and a Frigidaire. My grandma had one that had a little thing on the top. And before that, she had an ice box. Which them, oh boy, this is going to get me in trouble. There's a gray area, just like there's lots of gray areas of the law, where a man harassing a woman has some sort of inverse relationship to how much the woman really wants the man to approach. And an ancillary to this is that women also want a man to be assertive and follow up after initial rebuff to make certain that his genes are worthy to mix with hers. But it's the truth. So if a woman in that certain gray area likes the guy, she may accept what under another circumstance with someone she finds repulsive, whether physically or through her nose, will consider that to be harassment, sending her off to the HR department to make a complaint. Or if the man who she liked, who made that initial advancement, and she rebuffed him half coyingly, enough where she knew, but the man doesn't know, because men are stupid that way. And he doesn't come back for a second attempt. And her feelings are hurt. What? He didn't find me attractive enough? What type of man is he? Off to HR department for a complaint. The Me Too movement, which is a very important movement, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I think Al Franken, is it? The comedian senator, a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat, but I was 100% against him giving up his position that was elected by his constituency. I don't have to agree with someone to want to protect them. I'm a constitutionalist first before party. Franken's a comic. He was doing stupid things. He was putting his hands, making believe it was in front of a woman on an airplane who he knew, who he got a photo of. It wasn't as though he was trying to do it surreptitiously, for God's sake. He had a big, silly, frat boy smile on his face, as though his hands were going on her breast. Big deal. So he won't do it again now that he's been socially ostracized. Leave it at that. He shouldn't have volunteered to give up his seat because he was the first one to set a precedent. on such an innocuous type of charge. But you need strong parties on both ends to keep the others honest, just like we need auditors to keep our public servants honest. You don't want to give too much power in one hand, or that temporary mob of the majority might come get you on a Monday and another will get you on a Tuesday. So we have to protect minority rights all week long. So the Braves, the Injun Braves, why do words bother people so much? It's a word. I can't control your feelings. It's not my fault that your feelings and emotions get rattled by words. It's not intentionally really to be harmful. I'm talking about a subject. Do you want to shut down the subject? Is debate over? Not permissible? Is this a topic not allowed on YouTube? Can I say Indian, Indian, and Native American all in the same sentence? On one breath? I did it. I did it. All me. They're coming to take me away. Ha 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 ha. An eccentric is speaking. Heaven forbid. So let's try it another way. How about thinking that calling someone a brave is a positive thing to do? And that we should all be brave under certain circumstances, and if not, hope that there are brave people, including Indians, to come help us. And the Minnesota Vikings, they're brave and fearsome, and that's cultural appropriation. They even put horns on, and the Vikings never used those horns as far as I know. Should I do it? Remember as kids? Are kids still allowed to do this? La, 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 la. What did Leslie just do? Sacrilege! Tar and feather! I'm ambidextrous. Where were we? And I don't worry about all the lost time that I thought the wrong thing, whether it's a minute, a week, or decades. It's like putting good money into a bad poker hand. Only a fool does that. Not a person seeking truths, and I say truths with plural. There are very few singular truths that I've found. There are some that thus far seems to be accurate in science and mathematics, or generally true because it can be proven over and over by re-examination of that same experiment. But that doesn't mean, like Newton, that Einstein can't show that there's a mild correction that in a larger scale becomes massive, but simply works in our own limited scope of awareness, where we can't look in upon ourselves as a third party, as Einstein did, and others who opened his mind to be able to see in the way that he did. Of course, I think I'm right most of the time. I would hope so. Could you imagine all of us walking around thinking that we're wrong most of the time? That would be a horribly depressing place to be. But don't be in a place where you can't handle correction, or when someone gives you constructive criticism, or just criticism, that you don't fall apart and end up in a fetal position. One little, two little, three little Indians. 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians. 7 little, 8 little, 9 little Indians. 10 little Indians. Good night, all, and stream. Be brave.